Hello, hi. What if you could read other people more than you can do now? Because all human beings read one another on a daily basis without even realizing it. However, what if you could take it one step further? So, what if you've come across a love interest and you really like them and they seem to like you and you're getting on okay and you're developing romantic notions and you're hoping that this might be the one, but what if you could tap into that person and just figure out a little bit more about who they are below the surface? Now, it's not digging the dirt, it's not looking for bad stuff about people, you know. And what we have to do is we have to be incredibly honest with ourselves and we have to recognize that we have certain hopes, certain expectations, and we're going to put those to one side because what we're doing is we're looking for insight and information. Now, okay, this is part of what I do for a living. People will come to me and, they will pay me for the service. And so they will either ask for general predictions or they'll ask specific questions. Often people will be asking about somebody else. It might be an ex, it might be a love interest, and they want to know more. So, say we'll go back to the love interest. Of course, you want to feel good stuff and hear good stuff and know good stuff. But what if that person's got positive qualities? And what if at one level you and that person get on well, but there's a lot of other stuff below the surface going on that actually you will need to be aware of? Well, you could just wait. You could just wait and let time pass and get to know the person more. That is definitely one way of doing it. Um, a lot of people don't want to do that, especially when people are looking for a committed relationship. Sometimes, um, from experience, through my work, I understand that sometimes people don't want to waste time. So they would rather kind of get some information. Now, whether people listen or not to the information is another matter altogether. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that doesn't matter, does it? The information is still there. So here you are now. So think of somebody that you would like to know more about. It could be a love interest, but it could be a colleague. It could be a boss. So what you need is you need something either to write down, like a pad and pen, or you need something to record on, voice record on, maybe your phone or what have you. And then what we're going to do is this is what I do. If I'm looking for information intuitively on a person or a situation, I will sit with my eyes closed and I work mostly with my eyes closed because I see so much better with my eyes closed. And what you're doing is you're going to look into the soft darkness, okay? That's all you're going to do. And you're going to bring this person to mind and you're going to sit quietly and you're going to look into the soft darkness and you're going to kind of ask a question. Tell me more about this person. Now, you may be of the mind where you think you're asking spirit or you're asking God. It doesn't matter what you believe. I believe absolutely in, that we are part of a much, much bigger network of existence and there are many dimensions of awareness. But when I'm working, I believe I'm using my intuitive capacity. I don't believe I'm asking the spirits or God. That's just me. It doesn't matter. However you want to look at it, and don't be afraid here, okay? There's nothing to be afraid of. So you're sitting, you're asking a question, you've put to one side your hopes and your expectations as much as you can, and you're just going to wait. And you might see an image, you might get like a little snippet of a video clip, you might just know something in here, you just know it, you might feel it very strongly here. Now, so when you get that information, either speak it into your recorder or jot it down on the paper, and do put a date on it because you will want to look back over time. And this may not come immediately easy to you, but please practice because I promise you over time, you will definitely develop your intuitive capacity to see beyond the physical. Now, you're not going to be able to see everything. You're not going to get a history of this person, you know, um, what they did a week last Wednesday and with who. You're not going to get a complete record of their existence, but what you are going to do is start to pick up information about how they operate, how they feel, how they respond. Okay, so if you need to put this on pause for a minute, let's have a go. Okay, so you've got the person in mind, you're just breathing, you've got your eyes closed, you're just relaxed, and you're just waiting. You're asking, tell me more about this person, and you're waiting. See what shows up. Don't dismiss something that seems small. Jot it down. Jot it down. Because things will make sense afterwards. Okay? And then what this does is it just gives you insight and information. That's the only reason, anyway, anyone would, for example, have an intuitive consultation. It's only about insight and information. And all people are doing then is they're using somebody else as a channel. But over time, they can learn more and more and more to do it for themselves. Now, everybody has intuitive hunches. Everybody will have moments of sudden clarity. But what I'm talking about here is consciously developing the ability to tap into somebody. So for example, just this is one minute example out of many, many, many. But years ago, there was a lady that used to come to me for consultations, and I had to laugh. I won't go into it all anyway, but she kind of made me laugh in a weird kind of way. But anyway, she finally selected this man, and they started seeing one another. And I warned her about him. Intuitively, I knew that this man was struggling for money. I knew that a lot of what he put to the front was not the full picture. And I warned her that if she got involved with him, her life would be incredibly tough. But she didn't want to hear it, and she didn't believe it. He was always beautifully dressed. He was always spending money. They had some things in common. They both loved music and played instruments. And she was happy with him. And so it's a shame. She's not going to listen to me, is she, saying, oh, no, this man's got no money. He's got issues. He's got temper issues, impatience issues. And there's going to be a tough time ahead if you stick with him. But of course, I'm not saying everybody should listen automatically, but at least you had the information. As it turned out, this man was severely in debt, and she started, her own inner instincts started kicking in after a while. And one day when he was away, she went through his stuff. Maybe not a good thing to do. I'm not condoning it, but she went through his stuff, and she found out that he was paying a lot of people off at very small amounts of money every month. So he was really in debt. And they did get married, and he became incredibly ill, and he became incredibly angry, and she had a very, very hard time with him. Very hard time indeed. But, all I'm saying is that the information is there. Now, she could have gotten that information or some of that information for herself. But I think one of the problems is sometimes we don't want to believe ourselves. But the more we do it, the more faith we develop in our own judgment. Okay? So she reached a point on her own where she started to have suspicion. Do you understand? And so that was her inner voice speaking. But of course, by then, somebody's so far in to the situation that you can't just walk away. It's hard. We could say, oh, just get out there and walk away. It's not that easy, is it? There's a number of factors involved. But nevertheless, I was just using that as an example of how you can tune into somebody you've never met, you don't know, or you have met, but there's stuff that you don't know about them, and you can start to pick it up. Okay? Now, you may get some information, but still decide to continue to see where the relationship goes. But at least your eyes are wide open. At least you've got your eyes open, your feet on the ground, and your shoulders back and your head up. And you're just thinking, well, okay, I'm seeing where it goes. I'm not going to be idealistic here. I'm not going to have expectations that this person can't live up to because I can feel in here they can't. But you can use that to look into it. So a colleague or a boss who's being really awful, for example, you may discover through tuning into them, you may feel that they've actually got big issues going on. Maybe they're having relationship problems, money problems. Maybe they're under stress from above. I don't mean God, but I mean from another boss. And so it doesn't mean that they can treat you the way they want, but it just means you might be able to see it a little differently and respond to it a little differently and get a different result for yourself out of it, you know? So you can also use it for mediumship, to develop mediumship and to help you. Here's another little thing you can do. When you're on your own and it's quiet, you know, kids are in bed, or maybe you haven't got kids, you dim the lights and you have a little candle. It just has to be a tea light. You don't need anything fancy. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to relax, you're going to breathe, but you're going to start by looking into the candle flame, okay? And you're not staring so that your eyes are burned and dry. You're just watching, you're focusing on it, you're focusing on it. And then when you're ready, you close your eyes and you picture the candle flame here in your vision, and you just sit and wait. Just focus on that candle flame and just wait. Doesn't matter whether it takes a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Something will show, something will come to you, okay? And don't be afraid of this. You're not going to draw evil spirits in or anything like that, okay? What you're doing is you're opening your mind. You're allowing your subconscious mind to open up. And then you will figure out, maybe you receive information largely through vision. Maybe you receive it largely through feeling. Maybe you receive it largely through just knowing in the middle of your head. But the more you practice, the more that you develop. You're never going to get to the point where you will see everything in the world, but you can definitely use it to figure situations out, to figure people out. And just a little bit of information can make a massive difference, you know? So it then gives you the option of how you respond to that person. So if it's a love interest, at least, as I say, you know, you're pre-warned, or you've got a bigger understanding of this person, regardless of what they're projecting. If it's a work colleague or a family member, you might discover there's stuff going on that's really got nothing to do with you, even though they're taking it out on you. It just might help, you know? So there you go. So it's just a case of developing the habit of looking into that soft darkness and just waiting. And even the smallest little thing that shows up may seem irrelevant, but you jot it down or you keep a note. And then further down the line, you could say, now I know how that fits in now. I understand. And, you know, if nothing else, it is relaxing and it is fascinating, and you are opening yourself up to a wider source of information. Okay, that's what you're doing. As I say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's a starting point. Okay, then. So I'll click off, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye.